Suede are a relatively new band on the block with roots in Bowie and glam rock persona. They look and sound like Lost Boys in search of William Burroughs. Now, in the light of last year's phenomenal overnight success with the release of their first indie singles, we now have their debut album and tour. But will the critics wear them or tan them?
It's pointless trying to make a record that sounds like you do live, because the format that we use of live guitars just never, the excitement of it can never come across on a record, and everyone really falls down on that. But when we do it live, everything has to come out a lot trashier and a lot more exciting than it's just all to do with expression. I quite like to make records people can sit home and just sort of cry to or something. But I think it should be a completely jubilatory thing when you're playing live.
I find it quite boring to write songs that don't aggravate in some way lyrically, which isn't to say that it's supposed to be deliberately contentious or anything like that, but we've got a very strong idea of what we are and where we should be going, and we're quite conscientious about this because we know it's important. We know we're not. It's more important for us to be just another band in the music press. We often think about making records is that the best records are the kind of records that you can fall asleep to. Pop music is just the ultimate art form. It's the most expressive and it's the most passionate. All other art forms are runts compared to it, I think.
That's all from European Entertainment News, so until next week, bye-bye.
The independent music scene was practically the only place where anything interesting has been happening over the past 20 years. But sadly, like most other things, in the late 80s, it fell into a period of serious decline. But lately, through a fusion of garage bands, dance, goths, camps, and the eternal shoegazers, it's been reinvented by a bunch of idiosyncratic and individual bands such as Scarlet, Suede, and Dodgy, who all have one thing in common: a personality.
What is indie? I suppose it's kind of more of an attitude now, really. One of the major beneficial things of kind of sort of like coming from an independent sort of like label, an independent sort of like point of view. You know, you're kind of given time to sort of to grow, to sort of, you know, to sort of like flourish without having all the sort of like pressure that being on a major label has. Suede are one of the best bands that I've seen for a very, very long time. I think, you know, the last sort of like year has seen in this country, you know, the dominance of, you know, a lot of the American bands, you know, Nirvana and all, you know, the sort of like the wave of bands that came in behind them. I think Suede have the potential to be a great British band.
We've been out of the media microscope for a long time during our development, which has been a really healthy thing. Not having to grow up in public, I think there's a lot to be said for it.
we never know what's coming next. We have a very large variety of songs at our fingertips. The song we've got lined up for our next single after this is virtually a housewife's choice. And we're not ashamed of that, because I think it's a great song. I think it's virtually the pinnacle of what we've done so far.